It's 10:03. I want to do our land acknowledgement. We are privileged to meet near the confluence of the Kettle and Granby Rivers, a location of ancestral importance to the hunters and fishers of our Indigenous communities. I'm going to call this meeting to order. The agenda is before us for July 13, 2026. The recommendation is that Council adopts the agenda as presented. Thank you, Councillor Lafleur, seconded by Councillor Studley. All those in favor? Opposed and carried. The minutes from June 22nd, 2026 annual meeting and regular meetings. Recommendation is that we receive them as presented. Mover, thank you, Councillor Lafleur, seconded by Councillor Studley. All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay, so we're going to move along to petitions and delegations. And I see Chuck Bear is in here. So Charles, very official here, is in the gallery. I'll invite yourself and whomever you would like up to the front here. And yep. And can you make sure the microphone's turned on there? Yes. Just a moment, Councillor Studley. You're going to excuse
just
yourself.
Recuse myself because I live right across from the property. So.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your time. I'm
Can
here
you
with.
I'm sorry, can you speak right into the microphone. So
Okay, I'm here with Dan Sahlstrom. He's our engineer on file from Castlegar. And we're here today to ask for a bylaw variance to get rid of the curb and gutter in our development. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dan and he will he'll do the presentation for us.
Appreciate that. Welcome, Dan.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. It's my pleasure to be here. I always look forward to an opportunity to come in front of the council for a community that we work in. We're based out of Castlegar and have been involved in land development for many years and have a pretty good idea of what it takes to get subdivision across a finish line. And that's where we're at here with Chuck's development. And so he has suggested to us that we consider supporting his concept of no curb and gutter in the development. The original plans that we submitted that were approved for construction did have the curb and gutter. So he's asked if we would support that, and if we would, that we would present our rationale for why we would support that to you. Okay. So the short answer is yes, we believe this is something that we can support, and I can share with you why we feel this is I'll say a good idea. It's certainly a good idea for some, and it would be acceptable, in our opinion, from a technical point of view. So there's sort of two sides that I look at it from, or that I see here, the technical merits, and then of course there are financial benefits to the developer. And without getting into it in a big way, I want to share my opinion on why I support saving my client money, and often, and more so, when I started my career 25 or 30 years ago, I always felt that in a room like this, there was caution when it came to doing anything that would save a developer money. When you're responsible for the finances for the city and the taxpayers' money, the first reaction is no. We can't partner. We can't get involved with private development. We have to be careful about that. From what I've seen and the experiences I've had and the struggles with getting land development projects across the finish line in the Kootenays, I hope it's not just me, but so many that we're involved with struggle to make any money in the end. So the little campaign that I'm on, and whenever I have the opportunity to say that I feel developers and municipalities need to approach land development as a partnership.
Well, I turned it off. It hasn't stopped yet. Well, It hasn't stopped yet.
Sorry,
For,
can you mute Councillor Thompson?
for whatever reasons, in their wisdom, the bylaws have been set up to require private sector to grow our communities. Municipalities, council, they don't get involved with land development projects in general. We rely on the private sector to put in our subdivisions, to build our high rises, to create the housing that we need. So it needs to be done in a recognizing the value and that partnership. So that's kind of my spiel for why should we care if we're saving this guy any money. He's the one that needs to finish in order for your town to grow, and we want him to create affordable homes. So we're hoping that if we can keep this thing affordable for him, that will get passed on to the community. So that's my preference for saying if we can delete the curb and gutter, it's going to make this a more affordable development. The other side, more on the technical, is curb and gutter. Curb is the barrier that creates the edge of the roadway and makes a nice aesthetic, makes a nice straight line. It gives something for you to put your lawn up against, your landscape against. The gutter portion of the curb and gutter, and we often say them together because they get cast as one unit. The gutter is for the purpose of conveying water. It's part of the storm sewer system. For this particular development, we don't have anywhere to take that water to. We're not trying to convey the water. There is no storm sewer pipe out in the municipal roadway. So we don't have a place to collect and then take that water to. In some instances, we would have a disposal system on the property. So we would still collect and take it to maybe a big rock pit, a big pond somewhere, and have it settle or evaporate in that instance. So we had to look at what are we going to do with the stormwater? How do we dispose of it? So the concept at the beginning, even when we had the curb and gutter proposed, was we would have in the boulevard, in front of each lot, an area where we would infiltrate that stormwater into the ground. So the curbs that we had proposed all had little knockouts in the back, in front of each lot. So as the gutter attempted to collect the water, it would lose it again right away. Whatever it collected in front of that property, it would lose in front of that property. So the curb and gutter didn't really serve a purpose. It would collect it and then it would get rid of it. So I can do a better job of that if we simply eliminate that barrier. If we get rid of that curb, I would then have a uniform flow of the water off of the lawn and down into the swale in front of each lot. Our swales have been designed as, we have all kinds of fancy names for them. Infiltrative swales, natural bioswales, rain gardens. You see that term used quite often in different landscaping. It's a fancy way of saying we're going to collect the water there and soak it into the ground in that place. So underneath the swale that runs along the street in front of each lot is an area of drain rock that will take the water, store it, and then soak it into the ground. That drain rock is wrapped in a G-textile cloth that allows us to put a layer of a mix that we have a blend here of a sandy topsoil on top of that, which will receive the water and then soak it through. That works great all summer, spring and fall. Doesn't work great when the ground is frozen. So in the middle of each of those, we're going to put a small lawn drain that penetrates down and into the drain rock. So even in the winter, our little infiltration basins between each driveway can receive and soak the water into the ground. So that system was part of our original design. It's just that it had the barrier of the curb along between it and the road with the knockout. So in my system, I have no use for that barrier. I don't need it. And it is a cost to the system. my design, my system actually works better without it because I have a more uniform flow from the roadway into the ditches. So I think that's essentially it in a nutshell. I think that is that's a markup of our original plan where I show the removal of the curb and gutter and make some notes about how we will drain down into the swale. And then the other figure prepared because staff had suggested I make a sketch to kind of show what it would look like. It's just sort of an ortho view of the swale. I guess that's the other point we want to make is we're not promoting and we don't want large ditches in exchange for the curb and gutter. We want a mowable swale. I don't need a large ditch for the volume of water that we're talking about. Between each of our grassy swales, I've shown that the driveway is slightly elevated with no culvert under the driveway because I want each lot to contain its own water. The development has a low point in the middle. It slopes away from 68th and then back up on the north side. So if I were to put culverts under each driveway, I would run the risk that the poor guy at the bottom would end up with all the water. I want these short little trench dams, we'll call them, made by each driveway to help to hold the water in front of each. The driveways themselves would also have a small swale, so that if these basins did fill, the water would flow across the driveway before it would go out onto the street or back to the into the yard. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we open for questions from council. Seeing if there's any questions before we. Oh, go ahead, staff. Yes.
Just through your worship, good morning. Maybe you can just confirm exactly what the DVP is, just so everybody's on the same page. So just so I'm clear and just so council's clear, the DVP. Oh, can you pull that back up again? Sorry, Kev. Yeah. So and I had asked Chuck about this, Mr. Verbioff about this previously, and we'll just do the design again. Yeah, that's it. That one. Yeah. So no curb and gutter, swale with what we'll call something like a French drain system. No culverts under the driveway. And in here it says gravel walkway, but are you looking at changing that back to asphalt? Okay. And so that's the DVP and that's kind of the variation. And if you go to the first drawing is right out of the subdivision development servicing bylaw. And you've marked it up and kind of made those changes in there. Am I missing anything?
No, that sounds good.
Okay.
Sorry, on my sketch, I don't show the little lawn drain penetrating the, that was an addition that we came up with, not on the sketch.
Okay. Any questions from council? Seeing none, we'll bring it back in just a few moments here, back for decision and discussions.
So no variance to the security, no variance to the land. You don't want to ask for that?
Oh, yeah, yes, I
Part
do.
two.
Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Part two is, since we started our project, we submitted our drawings to the city to review. Now, in those drawings, there was a plan for the electrical sewer. The city reviewed them, approved them, and sent them back to Dan, and we received our issued for construction drawings. We started our construction based on those drawings. We ordered all our pipe, all our vaults, everything we needed, complete the sewer and electrical according to those drawings. Now, a year later, which was about 6 months ago, the city sent us a revised electrical drawing. And in that drawing, the location of the main service from the pole had moved 1 or 2 poles away. Now, because of that change, and the vaults we had originally ordered are no longer good enough for the revised plan. So all of that ended up costing us close to $70,000. Now, that $70,000 we weren't expecting to pay was set aside for our paving, which we obviously no longer have the money for because we had to put that into the changes to the electrical that the city made. So what I'm asking for is we need titles to our land, to each individual property in order to sell them to the end user. Now, the city requires a 125% bond of the unfinished work. Now, provincial legislation states that that bond can be lowered anywhere from 1% or raised to 200%. It's up to the city to decide the percentage of the bond they require. I'm asking that the bond be lowered in order to allow us to get titles to the properties, end up selling them, and then maybe in 6 months or early next spring, we'll get the paving done after we have some lots sold and some houses started to be built. Thank you.
You're asking, one of the questions was you're asking you from 125 to, do you have a number in mind, Chuck? That,
Zero would be
wow, yeah,
ideal,
okay,
but
let's,
whatever the $70,000 extra
would represent.
calculates to, so maybe 30 to 40%, I think. And I know that's a big ask, but once we have titles and start selling properties, that increases your tax base right away. If I put up a bond, that's money that you're giving back to me in a year or 2 years. But if we have titles to the properties and people are, well, even if we don't have titles to the property, right away, the minute we have titles, there's 20 plus the leftover piece, 21 properties that will be paying property tax. So, so I think it's in the best interest of us and also the city. And so whatever, that figure obviously can be negotiated depending on how council feels.
I appreciate that. And so I'm going to ask, is there any further questions based on the new information that was presented here? Go ahead, Councillor Zelinski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Welcome, gentlemen. Just for clarification, with what we've got in our agenda package and all the maps there, are those the maps that you're saying have been approved for construction by the city?
Yes, they are.
Okay, because I've got a big problem with the electrical piece I see in here. So it's just, I guess I'll have to talk to our staff and whatnot and see who approved these ones here. Yeah, there's no way we're going to accept those if I have my way, I guess. Put it that way. Thanks.
Okay. Councillor Lafleur.
Through the CAO, do we have stamped electrical engineered?
Yeah, and so I mean, when this comes back on the agenda, I'm happy to answer council's questions. But for now, I can give you a quick answer and say we worked with the developer in April of this year to get stamped engineer drawings. There were no engineer drawings before that. We have some back and forth. I actually have a drawing that was sent to Anira, the original electrical engineer, showing that that pole wouldn't work in 2023. I don't know what happened and how it ended up in this issued for construction drawing, showing it back to the other pole. But yeah, I can answer those questions later. As Councillor Zelinski noted, this is not an electrical schematic. It's a bit of a layout. There's no detail there. We couldn't approve it because there's not enough information there.
All
Okay,
right.
but
Okay, go ahead, Chuck.
if you couldn't approve it, why did you approve it and send it back to our engineer to issue the drawings?
Okay. All right, we'll
And,
get into,
and that's,
yeah, okay.
and that's my concern is, I'm, all I'm asking for is that the bond be lowered because it's because of the drawings that were issued not even a year ago, and they were changed considerably, whether it was a concept or not. It was an approved drawing saying, go ahead and here's the approved plan. And it showed it clear, if that pole at the time the city approved it wouldn't work, why didn't the city then, electrical department, indicate to us at that time that that pole wouldn't work? We would have changed it before we had the drawings issued for construction, but it wasn't. It was approved and given to us for construction. Issued for construction means just that. It's issued, go ahead and do the construction, and we did. And then a year and a half later, then we got this $70,000 increase to our budget thrown at us that that we had to come up with, which we did. And the city signed off on everything, but it's left us $70,000 short. And I'm sure you don't want to see that development left sitting the way it is for the next 5 or 10 years because I can't pay for the paving and the bank takes it over. Um, it's not good for the community. So what's good for the community is working with me, come up with an agreement, a lower figure than obviously 125. If I had the 125, I'd just pay for the paving and be done with it. And then get the project done and start building homes on there.
All right,
Yes,
Okay.
that was another thing. There is an option to, instead of putting up a cash bond, and that is using property as a security. I have $4 million worth of property. I had an appraisal done in December. Our property is worth 3.9 million post-construction. We're almost there. Once we have that, once we have titles, we have 20 service lots plus the leftover piece that's about 3 acres, and that can be used as security instead of a cash bond.
all right. Let's bring this forward here in a few minutes after our councilors' reports. Thanks, gentlemen. We'll deal with this in a little bit here. So, okay. You're more than welcome to if you'd like to. Okay, so we're going to call for some councilor reports, and we have to get maybe Councilor Studley or Kevin. All right, so let's start with Councilor Lafleur. Okay.
Good morning. On June 23rd, I zoomed in on the Health National Recruitment and Retention Information Session held by the Honorable Brittany Anderson and Josie Osborne, Minister of Health. It was quite interesting listening to the different strategies that communities are using to recruit and retain positions. Grand Forks International Baseball recently held their annual tournament, and I volunteered at the gate. This is always an exciting event for the community to come out and watch some great baseball. June 25th, I attended the Rec Commission. This is our last meeting until September. Friday, June 26th, as council liaison, I attended the Grand Forks Senior Society meeting. A concern was raised in the meeting about the cost of AED supplies, but unfortunately, I was not able to find a more economical source. The pads for the AEDs are quite costly. July 1st, along with several members of council, I participated in the Canada Day Parade. I always enjoy getting a chance to ride in one of the antique fire engines. Later, I went to City Park, took part in some of the celebrations, including helping hand out 450 cupcakes to attendees. I think next year we may need a few more, as we did have people asking for some after we had. They do disappear quickly. City Park was definitely full of people celebrating Canada Day, and I believe the event gets bigger and better every year. I did not get to the Legion for their anniversary celebration as we came home to let the dogs out, and just as we were heading out the door, there was a big cloudburst and it was pouring rain. I also missed the Grand Forks Car July 4th as we were attending a celebration of life. I have seen photos posted online, and it looks like it was another great event. This past weekend, I celebrated my birthday, and I have to say that Hanny B did herself with the floral arrangement that my husband ordered. It is beautiful and has all my favorite flowers. July 25th from 7 to 10 p.m., Gallery 2 is hosting a summer social, craft beer, and fundraiser. It should be an enjoyable evening. The 2026 Men's Provincial Tournament will be here July 31st to August 3rd. So if you weren't able to get by or you want to see some more great baseball, head on down to James Donaldson Park.
Thank you very much. Councillor Thompson, do you have a report?
No, not at this time, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Zelinski?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I hope everyone's been enjoying the different festivities around town. Canada Day was great. I want to thank, I believe it was Dave from the fire department that was our chauffeur for myself and a couple grandkids enjoying it. So we sure appreciate it, and I'm sure a lot of people in the community did also. Since Councillor Lafleur highlighted it, I'd like to highlight it again, is the webinar, whatever, from the province on how different communities are supporting their medical facilities. A lot of different things going on out there. A lot of people trying to do different things to see if it might keep their facilities open. My concern is the province is definitely okay with us taking up their responsibility. And so I don't know where this discussion is going to go, not only locally here, but in the province. But that was probably my biggest takeaway, was that every small community is out there scrambling to try and keep their facilities. And the province didn't offer any options or anything else, and just said, great going, guys, keep it up. So that's definitely going to be another local property tax base in the future. How big of a hit, we don't know, but that's what I like to highlight. And everybody enjoy the summer. Lots of things out there, great weather. So enjoy what we have to offer. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Councillor Studley?
Not too much. I did attend Canada Day, Christina Lake Homecoming. There was a museum meeting scheduled for tonight. I just recently sent out an email to council. It had to get postponed. So, yeah, that's my update.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Mark is absent today. He does send his regrets, though. Councillor Krog?
Yay. Went to Canada Day. It was well attended. Watched Deborah get covered in multicolored icing as she was handing out cupcakes. No, nothing really to report at this time.
Okay, thank you. Director Weiss? Welcome. Nice to see you today. How are things on the farm?
Very good. Thank you. Very warm. As always, thank you very much for having me. It's been an interesting few weeks in Grand Forks and in Area D. I didn't make a official statement for you today, but the thought of my mind is to congratulate City Council and the staff on their ribbon cutting on Friday. There has been so much work and technical expertise that has gone into this. I've watched this with great fascination over the years. So thank you very much for that. Um, Times are odd. You're right. Silly season. I don't have a lot to add to that. That will move any conversation forward. So thank you, and I hope things go smoothly on Friday for the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor, or sorry, Director. Okay, add my 10 cents here. I appreciate Counselor Zelinski talking about the universal health care that supposedly we all enjoy, which we don't enjoy because government's not doing their part. This is a constant nag. I was speaking to some of the counselors from the Osoya side and Oliver, and as you know, their ER is probably open far less from maybe one day a month if they're fortunate lucky. So, this is certainly an issue that we'll need to be bringing forward to government. That it's great that we're able to do what we need to do, and that's to help our citizens. But it really is not within our means. This is a provincial matter, and in such should be addressed in a provincial way. But unfortunately, and I hear it, from Interior Health quite a bit that, well done, Grand Forks, you're doing great. Yep, that's on the backs of our taxpayers when you pay your PST and your taxes to the government. That's supposed to assist with some help from the feds. So it will be certainly a topic that will be discussed certainly at our upcoming UBCM in the fall. I think the minister will need to get her ears on for that. And continuing with that, it was actually, we're talking about Canada Day. It was great. I met three very polite young gentlemen in Councillor Zelinski's grandchildren. Just commenting this morning how it was such a pleasure to meet them, and they're well on their way to being great young men, and you should be very proud of them, Councillor. Yeah, oh, that's right. They did want to throw candy. I did remember that, and we went back to the candy scandal of 2024, but note taken. In the area of we did announce last week that we have a new nurse practitioner in town, Renee Miner. She completed her nursing practitionership here in Grand Forks and chose to stay here, which is awesome for us. And she's expected to attach another approximately 400 patients that don't have doctors at this point in time. So that's great. We welcome Renee. I'm hearing lots of good things from the public about their interactions with her, and we're very pleased to have her in our community. And we look forward to the next announcement as it comes forward here. It seems to be we're attracting some new blood into our community. So I do want to throw out a big thank you. It really just covers all the things that we were doing here in the summer. As you know, these things just don't happen by accident. It takes a lot of volunteer hours, a lot of work hours. But I want to send a big thank you to the GFI, for those organizing the Canada Day. It was a great morning all together, and the location was perfect where it was brought back up onto this side a little bit where there was more shade. The car show, music in the park, farmers market, night market, lots of things going on. And I encourage everyone, our citizens, to get out and support these great activities that make Grand Forks so as great as we are. This week was also busy in the sense that we had our MLA and MP in town, and that's always an interesting juggle when we have an opportunity to meet with the public. And I was at both functions, and it was interesting to some of the conversation going on both federally and provincially. So with that, I will end my report, and I will take the recommendation that members of council and council representative, the regional district, to receive the reports. Can I move her? Thank you, Councillor Fleur, seconded by Councillor Zelinski. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Okay, moving on to potential decisions. So the variance permit, there's a number of asks in here. do you want to go ahead, start? Oh, thank you, Councillor Slansky for stepping, or Studley for stepping out.
So through your worship, today, the only decision point in front of council is regarding taking land as a security. That's not our past practice. Typically, we take cash or certified checks, etc. And so that would require a resolution if that's something council would like to consider. The rest of the asks are wrapped up within the development variance permit and our required notification to go out within 30 meters, which would include Bryson's Place, probably Councillor Studley living across the way. Mr. Verabioff himself would also get that. And so, yeah, the only decision point today is really whether you take that land as a security. I can delve into some of the questions about the approved drawings. We have varying opinions on that. I have varying emails that say differently, but I won't unpack that unless council would like to get into that. Right now, the decision point is whether you'll accept land as a security.
Okay. I'll kind of start off. First of all, I want you to know that I would love to see this development completed. We need homes and affordable homes. So I certainly am would like to see this go forward. My only but is, what does it set precedence moving forward? So I think that's one of the questions that I need to have answered, but I certainly would like to see this project completed and homes built, homes sold, and people coming and enjoying all the things that we just talked about as in our council report. So, Zale?
So through your worship, and maybe I should just clarify the security, just for anybody who's wondering, maybe watching in the gallery. The purpose of the security is in the event that the subdivision isn't finished as per the bylaw, the security is then used to finish it because the property has been subdivided at that point and there are individual owners of lots, and that's to ensure that they get that standard, whether it be asphalt or whether it be a curb and gutter, depending on what's decided through the DVP, and to make sure that there's money there to complete that. And the legislation says if you don't have a bylaw, then the approving officer should look at how much would be required to actually finish the works. And those are kind of the two different options in there. If you do have a bylaw, then you go with the amount in the bylaw. Because it's in a bylaw, council can vary that amount through a development variance permit. And, Mr. Verabioff's asked a lot of good questions over the last week that I haven't dealt with before, and Dolores hasn't dealt with before. So we had to do some quick research and get some information. But you can vary the security. You can vary the curb and gutter and the French drain and those other aspects to it. And council can accept land as a security. It's more difficult. You're essentially entering into a sales agreement that is triggered in the event that the subdivision isn't completed by a certain date, and it's entered into essentially before subdivision is given, and then that sales agreement says, hey, by this date, if it's not done, it's sold. This is what it'll be sold for. The proceeds, X will go here to cover the security. The other amount will go to the owner. And we've never done one before, but if council wanted, we could try to figure it out.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Krog?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I'd be interested in looking at taking property as security.
Okay, Councillor Zelinsky.
So that's the detail I want to jump in, because we're not taking property. We're taking an asset that's going to be sold. Like, I can understand that if we were to gain that whole big lot for us to develop in the future, great, but that's not, it'll be sold to another third, fourth, fifth party, and who knows what might happen to it. So it's just cash for cash. It's not really, don't get any land. In the end, if things go sideways, we're not going to get any land, is my understanding.
Okay.
I'll just answer that. I mean, I can't foresee in the property that Mr. Verabioff is suggested is worth more than the security would be, so I can't see him handing over that entire property. I'm assuming he'd want it, the sales aspect, unless he had another property that was closer in value to the security, but I don't think you do.
Councillor Krog?
Sorry, misspoke. Not getting property, but taking property as security is what I was looking at.
Okay. Thompson?
Thank you. Just a question with respect to the sidewalk. And an asphalt walkway, for lack of a better word. Have we, I believe we did that in the area of the seniors home, Kettle Valley. Someone speak to that and am I correct in my memory?
Through your worship, I'm not sure about that area specifically, but I can say in front of Tim Hortons, there's an asphalt sidewalk, and also in the neighborhood to the north of this subdivision, there's also an asphalt sidewalk.
Is Dolores there? I thought she might be able to speak to something along those lines. And it's not the senior center, it's the, on 73rd?
You mean 72nd?
Yes.
Mayor? Yeah, so that was a asphalt extension along 72nd that went from basically the curling club to Extra Foods to 27th. And then as CAO Redfern said, the subdivision to the north, we've got the asphalt, it's a multi-use pathway.
So then I take it that, that we wouldn't be setting a precedent if we, allowed this to go through as per Mr. Verbiev's request?
Just through your worship, and so that'll be covered as part of the DVP. So you're correct, we're not setting a precedence, but council needs to enter into a land use decision in August with an open mind. So before anybody suggests they like it or don't like it, you'll have to wait to get that feedback. So maybe I'll just stop it there if that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Lafleur.
I'm going to go back to the land trade. This would be a very complicated legal document. Who's paying for staff time and legal costs?
Through your worship, council can set that through resolution, that if that's something you're interested in doing, you can make that part of the criteria.
Okay. All right. So I guess the question is, where are we with this now then? Do we have a motion? Is there someone to make a motion? Whether it be in favor of or a negative to? Go ahead, Councillor Zelinski.
So one of the biggest problems I see is dealing with costs over time. You know, we put 125% into, or someone put 125% in that bylaw for a reason. We can I honestly believe that things have gone up substantially over the last 4 or 5 years, more than the 25% or that. And then when you throw on top of it trying to value land in this community, whether it can be sold or not, is another issue. And over time, there's just too many variables. So I'd like to see if I can get a seconder for a motion that we receive this as information.
Okay. So the motion is that we're going to receive this for information. We have moved in seconder. Councillor Krog, do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, I don't think this would be the correct direction. I think we can take the land as a guarantee. Again, the whole point is to ensure that the subdivision is finished appropriately. So if, and it would be in Chuck's best interest, obviously, to finish it properly. And this land would just ensure that it's done. So receiving it for information, I don't think is the appropriate thing. I think we should do something with it now. So I'm going to vote against that.
Okay. Councillor Fleur on a follow-up.
I'm going to make a statement. without stamped electrical drawings from an engineer. I think we may have a bigger issue, and I don't want to see a repeat of Valley Heights, and I will not be supporting.
Councillor Thompson?
If there is a resolution put forward, I'm still having some difficulty hearing. Could Kevin put it up on the screen so I could read it
Okay.
when it is seconded and ready for a vote, please?
So the motion at this point is that we receive as for information. Can you see that, Christine? Councillor? It'd be, it would be, yeah, it moves to the, we just taken it for information.
And I can see the resolution. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any questions on this resolution? We've moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to receive for information. All right. Moving on to recommendation. Thank you, Chuck and yeah. All right. Moving along to recommendations from staff for decisions. Number A is the appointment of the Deputy Chief Electoral Officer. The recommendation is that Council appoints Kevin McKinnon as the Deputy Chief Electoral Officer at a rate of $1,500 for 2026 general municipal elections, and that Council authorize the contracted Chief Electoral Officer to hire election officials for the purpose of conducting the 2026 general election at a rate of $300 per day. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Fleur.
Your Worship, is Councillor Studley
Oh, yeah.
away?
I forgot about Mark Councillor Studley. Sorry, let me grab him.
We've continued on without you.
Meeting's over, by the way.
We thought you were here.
So, you saw that. Sure, I saw you sitting there. So, anyway, so we're moving on now to recommendations from staff for decisions, and it's the appointment of the Deputy Chief Electoral Officer. I'll read the recommendation again. The Council appoints Kevin McKinnon as the Deputy Chief Electoral Officer at a rate of $1,500 for the 2026 general municipal election, and that Council authorizes and contracts Chief Electoral Officer to hire election officials for the purpose of conducting the 2026 general municipal election at a rate of $300 per day. And moved by Councillor Fleur, seconded by Councillor Zielinski. Any questions? Go ahead. I don't know. He's that kind of guy, sits in the corner and he's got a. Yeah, yes. Go ahead, Councillor Zielinski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not necessarily have to do with this. Just some clarification for me. This opportunity to ask questions. Non-resident landowner. If you live outside the city limits but own property in the city, can you vote in the city?
Yes, so that's what we call a non-property elector, and the vote actually is with the property, not the individual. So the example I would use is if a husband and wife co-own a property, there is one vote, not two. And if you own multiple properties, the individual, then it goes back to the individual and you get one vote. However, if a husband and wife owned two properties, one could vote for property one, the other could vote for property two. So it's a little bit of paperwork for us to double check on voting day. But yes, if you own property within the city as an individual, but not as a corporation, then you would have a vote.
Follow up?
Another question that I don't know the answer to. The voting ballot itself, is it ranked as far as who you want first, who you want second, or is it just a race to the finish?
No, it is a race to the finish. So for mayor, the ballot will have however many candidates. You get one vote. For council, it will list all of the candidates. You can vote up to 6. It is not required that you vote a full slate if you so choose. And what comes out of the report at the end of the tally is simply the number of votes that were cast for each individual candidate.
Okay. Okay, moved and seconded. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Communication policy update. The recommendation is that council direct staff to integrate council's feedback into the draft policy and return the revised communication policy 206 to the August 17th meeting for adoption. Okay, moved. Councillor Zelinski, seconded by Councillor Fleur. Questions? Councillor Zelinski.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to ask council's permission to move this to the committee of the whole next committee of the whole meeting. Our policy actually says that 106 prefers to go to the committee of the whole. I don't believe we're in that much of a rush on this. And why I suggest that is we already have a couple people declaring to run for council, and with presenting it in committee of the whole, it allows the public as a whole to comment on the, and that's sort of my reason to move it to next committee of the whole.
Okay. You're second that? Okay. So the recommendation is that it be moved to the August 17th committee of the whole. Moved and seconded. Got Councillor.
Can Councillor Zelinski state his opposition again, please, or why he wants it to go to committee of the whole? I don't understand that. I didn't hear him that clearly.
Okay.
So, hopefully didn't disappear there. Can you hear me, Councillor?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I believe it's policy 106. Actually states how we go through these procedures or these new policy changes and bylaws. And I believe it's number 3 right off the bat that says it'll be presented at the committee of the whole, more for public perception.
Oh, committee of the whole.
Committee of the whole.
I apologize.
So
I thought it was in camera.
No.
But at committee of the whole, that's fine.
So
I don't have a.
Just for other people listening. So in committee of the whole, we have a section at the end of the meeting where the public can stand up and talk about anything on the agenda. So I'd like the public to have that opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
So
Yeah.
through, yeah, so through your worship, yep, policy committee of the whole in the past, we've brought in for information because there are periods of time we go without a committee of the whole. There is a section for questions from public and the media at the end of the regular meeting as well that people could comment, but regardless, it's a council policy. You need to be comfortable for it. This will give you another month to take a look at it. It'll give another month for the community and the public to look at it and provide some feedback if they like. So this is completely in council's wheelhouse, and when you're comfortable, we're ready.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded. So that council refers the communications policy to the August committee of the whole meeting to allow for public feedback and discussion. So it's been moved and seconded. Any questions, further questions? Hey, seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Development permit DP 2607 258 Market Avenue, Sold House Wellness Center sign. The recommendation is that council approves development permit DP 2607 for replacement of the deteriorated front facade fabric awning at 256 258 Market Avenue with the building sign mounted sign consisting of vinyl graphics on aluminum compost panel measuring approximately 6.1 meters by 2.4 meters, mounted above the storefront window, protecting projecting approximately 19 meters from the building face with downward direction lighting on the items and conditions as presented in the development permit. Whew. Okay. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Fleur. Seconder? Thank you, Councillor Krog. Discussion. Councillor Zelinski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To staff, mechanism in our bylaws to force a change of an awning. If it's dilapidated too much or whatnot, can we encourage a business owner to change it? It's great that they're doing this, and I have no issue with this, but as we try and beautify the downtown, I'm just wondering whether that's the case, Ron.
Fair question.
Your Worship, just one quick comment is a lot of these are aerial encroachments and they're actually on city property over the sidewalk. And so we always have some ability because it's hanging over the sidewalk if there's a safety concern. We don't have a lot of aerial encroachments because these are dating back a long time ago. Some of the newer ones have them, but are you familiar with any other mechanisms we have in place?
Through the mayor, no, not like I was basically gonna say what, yeah, pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Studley.
Just kind of digging into that a little bit more. I know there was some historical building study or beautification study done in late 80s, early 90s, I want to say. And it said, get rid of those bubble awnings. So 30, 40 years later, finally, one by one, the businesses have slowly started to get rid of those bubble awnings for various reasons. Just one comment, it's not a make or break thing, just a suggestion on the sign. It would be nice if the letters aren't already three-dimensional to have them, routed up so they're either embossed or indented, just so it makes it a little bit more sharp. But that's just me. I like my three-dimensional letters. So.
Okay. All right. So we've been moved and seconded. Question.
Can I say something, please?
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Councillor. Your hand.
Downtown revitalization occurred in 1985, and the awnings were a part of that process. But I do like what was being proposed, and I don't have an issue with it being varied. I think it will last a lot longer than any that are still remaining from the cloth ones.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor. The discussion and some of the drawings everyone had awnings and things along too, but the care of it and look after it for years is difficult. So, okay. So thank you. So I'm going to call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and carried. All right, moving on to development permit DP 2606 at 125 Market Avenue, residential units. The recommendation of staff is that council approves development permit DP 2606 for the substantial alteration of the exterior facade of 125 Market Avenue in general accordance with the plans and conditions outlined in the development permit, and that development permit DP 2606 not be issued by staff until the applicant has provided landscaping security in the amount of $9,847.75. 43 and 75 cents, cash or an individual letter of credit following representing 125% of the estimated cost of $7,875 to be paid for 1 year, to be held for 1 year, one growing season following completion of the landscaping. And I understand, I see Dr. Sandar is present in our gallery. So do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Fleur. Seconder? Councillor Krog. Questions? Any questions? No questions? Okay. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Doctor. Back to the ER. All right. Number 10, bylaws. The business license bylaw number 2126, first and second reading. I'll read the recommendation and then we can proceed with the question. That council The council approves first and second reading of the business license bylaw 2126 and directs staff to provide an opportunity for persons who consider they are affected by the bylaw to provide feedback to council in writing between July 15th and August the 5th. And further, that any written feedback received be presented at the August 17th regular meeting of council. Do we have a mover? Seconder? Oh, sorry.
I'll second that.
Councillor Thompson, thank you. And now open to questions. Councillor Fleur.
So a question was asked as I was going through by my husband. What constitutes business activity for a nonprofit? So would that be like your facility? If you have a group coming in that's making money, maybe some examples?
So Bishop Kevin's just going to bring the bylaw up. And so the definition of business is directly out of the community charter. And essentially it is receiving money or essentially receiving money for an activity or payment, any kind of gain, capital gain, or profit. So selling of anything essentially is considered business.
Okay. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right. No items. Any questions on the public and media? Okay. All right. So can I have a resolution to go into camera? Thank you, Councillor Fleur, seconded by Councillor Studley. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So we'll give a couple of moments here. Verify.